Is Alex Eubanks the next CBUM? Oh my gosh, can you believe you said that? Seriously? Hey guys, thanks for coming back. This is a quick hitter. Glad to have you in today. Today we're going to talk about, is Alex Eubanks the next CBUM? Now, before you get crazy and think I have lost every bit of sense I have, just hang on to the end of the video. But I got myself in trouble when I made a video about the Roid Rage motivational video by the Trend Twins, and there was a guy in there doing side laterals, and I just made the comment, it's just a guy with long hair doing side laterals. Had no idea the firestorm I was creating, because I had no idea that that was Alex Eubanks. Now, let me just say this. I was a bodybuilder, and for years I was out of the gym. I retired my first time in my 20s, and so did not walk back into a gym until I was 41. After my daughter passed away, I needed something to clear my head, and so I went back into bodybuilding from a completely different life. And if you are interested in that, you can see that in my daughter's story called Madison's Story, and also tells the story about how I was in a car accident and was left paralyzed on my entire left side for almost 2 years, and was able to work my way back and win a pro card. Nevertheless, I made that comment, and you have to understand that I was focused in on the Trend Twins on that particular video, and I am not a guy that has been in the YouTube, Instagram arena for very long, literally for about a month and a half, 2 months. This video that we're going to cover right now is Greg Doucette did a video on Alex Eubanks, and Alex is doing a reaction to it. You say, now Jeff, why are you covering a reaction by Alex Eubanks to Greg Doucette? Well, because this young man actually says something in here that I think really reveals why I was wrong about this young man and just kind of dismissed him. Again, you have to understand, we were in the actual IFBB, the NPC bodybuilding world. We were not in this genre. We were flying to California from Atlanta, Georgia, and we were training high-end clients out there all over the country. So we were not in this realm, although we were sponsored athletes. We retired in 2019 because I was having a serious conflict with my walk with God and the drugs of the sport and everything. So we're going to go over this video with Alex just for a second. And again, as I said, there's one particular part that I want you to see that I really feel like sets this young man apart in this genre. Now, I'm not saying that all these guys are bad guys, but what I am saying is there's a lot of vanity and everything else in here. And a lot of these guys do it just for ego. And I'm not saying, Alex, there isn't an element of that in here, because there's an element of that in bodybuilding in and of itself. And so this entire sport, you have to be number one. You have to be super ego to do this. And so when you lay your life down for Christ, everything has to change. And so, for instance, you say, well, what makes your channel different than other channels? Well, I'm not out here promoting drugs. I'm not out here promoting myself. What I am promoting is the gospel of Jesus Christ. And somebody commented to me and said that Alex gave his life to Christ some time ago. And so I would love to investigate that further as well. And maybe even help this young man in his walk with the Lord there, if that is actually the case, as we do a lot of work with young men and older men alike. in this area. So let's get started. Let's take a look.
What is going on, guys? Alex Eubank here. Welcome back to the channel with another YouTube video. Again, uploading Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. I've been sick the last few days, so I wasn't able to get like workout content as much. So I'm filming a reaction to Greg Doucette. So Greg Doucette, look, let's just type in Alex Eubank here. Greg Doucette has made quite a bit of videos on me. Well, first off, we are friends. Disclaimer: we are friends. We did meet in Canada. I went up there to go.
So Alex and Greg are friends. They have met, and yet Greg does make a lot of videos about Alex being on steroids or wanting to be on steroids, that type of thing. And of course, a lot of that I just think is for clickbait. I honestly think it's for kind of collaborating for their channel and gain more followers, thereby gaining more clicks, gaining more money. But there's nothing wrong with that, I guess, if that is your living. And that's kind of the thing that impressed me about Alex when I watched this and took a little time to investigate this young man. We're going to skip over to one aspect of this video that we'll talk about, but I do think this is interesting, and then I'm going to give you the 3 reasons why I think this kid could be the next CBUM if he really worked at it.
Not because of some needle that you're going to stick into your body.
And so they're trying to convince Alex, you don't need it. You're already successful without it. Why would you do this? You don't know what you're getting. Why would you ever do this? He's listening to it. He's like, yeah, but it's just not making me happy. I don't care. I want to look better. I don't like my body.
You're going to stick into your butt cheek.
Yeah.
Or your quad.
But the problem with that is, Alex, is you don't know what the it is you're sticking in your body.
No, that's not the problem. He could quite literally using pharmaceutical testosterone prescribed by a doctor. But should he? No, what he needs to do is to be proud of the physique he's achieved. Because trust me, you're never going to feel good enough. If you in fact go on HRT, steroids, peptides, whatever, put on 10 pounds, you're still not going to be happy. You're then going to compare yourself to other people who are taking HRT. You have to realize that happiness comes from within. It's not the destination, but rather the journey. And so if he's natural.
Yeah. So again, when I am down and bad about my physique, it's because I look at my Snapchat memories and see how shredded I used to be. And then I want to get back to that. It's not me looking at other people and being like, oh, I'm trying to look like them. Like I don't care about being the biggest dude ever. I just honestly my physique. I like my physique a lot. I just want to get a more shredded version of it. And that's all I've been complaining about and chasing. Obviously I always toy around with oh, I'm going to hop on gear.
If you are playing with something this much in your head, that you got to be incredibly careful, because you're already in your mind, you've already gone to that side to try to decide what you would be like. And so I think if you are truly at that point, you are already there. You just haven't stuck the needle in yet. And honestly, I don't know if Alex is being 100% honest and actually not on steroids. But I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. He does look natural, although I have to say genetically, he is incredibly gifted. I would have killed for the type of connections he has in his chest. I always had to make sure that my upper chest really was huge and folded down over my mid chest to really give me that look of huge thickness, because I didn't have that width. He has little wider shoulders than I did.
Reason why I haven't allowed myself to bulk for literally since my main last bulk was high school in my senior year when I hit 190 is because of social media. Now I'm one who I optimize everything that I do, meaning as a social media influencer, you're only at the top trending for so long. So I'm trying to milk those years as much as I can and get the best content that I can and the most engagement that I can during that time period. And content does better. I would know based off of the analytics, based off of the what I see, it does better the leaner that you are, the more freakier that you look, the more not natty almost that you look. I just got in this thing for Snapchat. If y'all haven't seen me on Snap, I post hello on Snap now. The last picture that you post on Snapchat during the day is what determines how many views your overall story is going to get. So the last picture, I always have to post a throwback picture of me absolutely diced, and it kicks up my views twice as much if I post a picture at a higher percent body fat. So
this whole fitness influencer thing really sucks. And I hate to see these young men under such extreme amounts of pressure to make money. And that's why I say this thing is a swamp. At least in bodybuilding, we knew we were able to diet, we were able to go in, and we were able to win a show, get sponsors, get all of that stuff. We'd make our money during the year coaching people, sponsorships, things of that nature. These guys, man, the more I really research it, dude, these guys have to be on point 24/7, 7 days a week, and 365, man. And he talks about even Snapchat, how that if he posts a picture of him totally ripped at the end of the day, his views the next day are 2 times more than what they are if he posts something where he's 14% body fat. That is a rough way to live, man, because that means you are living at the pleasure of other people. And I love what the Apostle Paul said. He said, do I please man or do I please God? And so my thing is, dude, if you are a Christian, and some people say he is, dude, listen to me. You do what God tells you to do, post your stuff, and then let God have the consequences. But here is the thing that really impressed me, and let's get to it right now.
That's a prime example, and that equates to income. And for me, people will be like, oh, you're just doing it for the money. No, like, this is a job for me. So yeah, I have to do some of it for the money, 100%, because this is what's going to establish my future. When I have a family one day, right? To provide financial freedom for my family. And for me, it's what I do today, the sacrifices that I make today and over the next few years. It's going to allow me to have that financial freedom for the rest of my life. So yeah, I'm going to optimize every single bit that I can today. And if that involves me having to cut continuously, and I will complain about cutting all the time, but I will stick to cutting and like trying to be lean for a prolonged period of time, although it may not be the best for hormones, whatever. I'll sacrifice now in order for a better life later. And then down the road, when I feel like I'm at a more established point, then I will get back to bulking up, not caring as much about how I look on social media and content. But
that is the part that impressed me. Here's a young guy that really approaches all of this with a workman type attitude, and not just from a vanity aspect. And I know this sounds really convoluted because, like I said, I truly believe this is a really, really murky profession to be in. But he has a view in mind, and he has a goal in mind. He says he wants to have a family and have financial freedom. And this is the giftedness, this is the thing that has blossomed for him even at a young age. And so he approaches it with a workman type attitude, and he sacrifices comfort now for success later on. And so he's trying to set up his family and his future kids for generational money. For me, dude, that was all I needed to hear about this young guy. I congratulate you. He's almost at 1 million followers. And tell you what, Alex, there you go. We are now added into your fan base there. I believe he works hard. I believe that if he is a Christian, I believe he is finding himself in a murky profession. I do believe that it's going to be really hard for you to stay focused in this. Challenge you, man. Watch all of our Forge videos. Watch all of our One Dead Man Talking videos. Really start getting into a group at your church, man, or at a local church where you don't lose sight of what's important. Listen to what I'm about to tell you. A guy is talking to you that has been there, okay? This profession will eat you up. It will become your God, and you will lose track of everything that's important. While the body is going to waste away, the Bible says, your spirit is what needs to be fed every day. Don't just feed your body. Don't just feed your fan base. Feed your spirit. Find out who you are in Christ, dude, and walk that way. That's what's important. But let me tell you something. New respect for this guy. Truly a new respect for him. I didn't know who he was. But let me give you 3 ways that I do think this guy compares to CBUM. And that, number 1, if you look at his pictures, he looks genetically a lot like CBUM. Now, hang on a second. He is not steroided out. He is not growth hormoned out. He is not trained like CBUM with Hanny or any of that stuff. What I'm telling you, in his raw form, he has a lot of the same look that CBUM did. And man, I got to tell you, The second thing is not just genetically, his look, his draw with people is a very, very big deal. And so I would tell you that if you are a Christian, Alex, you have a great opportunity to affect a lot of people. And so instead of the cursing and things like that, man, start talking more about your walk with God. Start telling people that, yeah, you can be in this industry and yet you can still walk with God. And so you have that look that CBUM has. You have a lot of those same genetic things that CBUM has. And honestly, this kid knows how to pose. I mean, he's young, and I'm 57 years old. I'm an old dog, so you have to understand everybody is a kid to me. But this young man, I'm telling you, he knows how to pose. He has really good positioning. If you look in my young days, man, I was a posing machine. When I came back in my 40s and then was in the car accident and then came back and tried to pose, I could not pose my left side hardly at all, and somehow was still able to win a pro card. But that was a big deal. But this guy, he is able to pose genetically. He looks a lot like CBUM in his raw young state. And he has that magnetism, that it factor that you got to have for this type of sport. I am not saying, Alex, go get on drugs. Alex, go do the CBUM thing. What I am saying is, if Alex is a Christian, dude, seriously, use all of that stuff as an influence for God. Let God redeem all of this. Let God redeem your story of depression and use it for God's glory. Do I like this kid? Yeah, I really like him. And I really hope, Alex, if you ever get to Atlanta and you want somebody to really train you, let me know. We'll take good care of you, because I've got a wife that's a IFBB figure pro who was a master trainer for years, and I was a master trainer, coach, and certified for years as well. So God bless you guys. That's a quick hitter. We'll talk to you next time.